We're taking it to the next level, making a huge leap. We have some very exciting news to tell you about iPhone.
The iPhone 5 is not a game-changing device.
This new iPhone is good enough to compete with Samsung, but is good enough for Apple?
The much-hyped and anticipated iPhone 5 launched this week to widespread media fanfare. The iPhone 5 delivered on most expectations. It's Apple's thinnest and lightest phone yet. It's quicker than previous iterations, and it's got a larger screen and a better camera. But the big surprise was this is a device lacking in big surprises. The question now is whether Apple's ability to wow the market with innovations is on the wane.
Samsung has really caught Apple up in the smartphone race in terms of features and functions. And it's a very impressive device, and they've put an awful lot of marketing muscle behind it. Apple has put itself maybe a little bit ahead with the iPhone 5, but it hasn't done anything that really puts itself above and beyond, other than being an Apple device and everything that comes with that, the apps and the music and iTunes. So the question is whether the half of American consumers in what is now quite a developed smartphone market in the States will see that Apple is worth paying that extra premium for.
The danger for Apple is that the smartphone market has reached a point of maturity where there's very little to choose between the different handsets. The iPhone doesn't stand out from the crowd in the way it once did, and other devices have a similar look and feel, and they're cheaper. Chief Executive Tim Cook has shown he's a safe pair of hands, but there are questions over whether he can lead the company to innovate in quite the same way that Steve Jobs did.
I think that this is a warning sign really for them that they can't, although they can probably get away with having the iPhone as it is now. It's a very successful product, it's going to sell well. The iPhone 5 will sell more than the iPhone 4S. There's no real doubt about that. The question is, in the long term, what's the next iPhone going to be like, and where's the innovation they're going to come from? Because at that point they need to make a change.
And that's where Apple faces a dilemma. Introducing major new innovations could alienate loyal customers who've grown to love the Apple device and its vast world of applications.
They've got consumers that like the product and know the product, and they expect certain things from the product. They've also got a large ecosystem of third-party developers that have spent thousands of man-hours, if not millions of man-hours, developing applications. So if they do anything that completely throws that away and starts again, then they risk losing all of that goodwill and all of those man-hours of engineering effort that have to be redone. But that's their dilemma. At some point, they will have to make some kind of radical change.
The risks, though, look like they're confined to the medium term. In the short term, at least, Apple's quick global rollout of the new device has led some analysts to upgrade their sales forecasts for the new phone.
Apple's share price has risen a couple of percent every day so far since the iPhone had launched. It's now looking as though it's heading towards $700, which will be a new high for what is already the world's largest public company by valuation. And so the investor and analyst community seems pretty confident that the iPhone 5 will sell in pretty huge numbers. The iPhone makes up around half of Apple's revenue, so it is by far the company's most important product. So Apple really needs the iPhone 5 to be a massive success, and it needs it to be a massive success not just in the run-up to Christmas, but for the next year or even 2 years.
Apple's expected to maintain its position in the smartphone market in the next 12 months, but the warning signs are there. The big question is, in a post-Steve Jobs world, can the company create another new product category like the iPod, iPhone and iPad that will propel it to an even higher valuation? Daniel Garrahan, Financial Times.